Today, we are diving into a secret that's been hiding in the Torah for millennia. It all starts with the death of the matriarch Sarah, but what looks like a simple verse is actually a cosmic code, a blueprint for reality itself, hidden right there in plain sight. Okay, so here's our roadmap for this journey. We're going to start with this really strange biblical anomaly, a life that's literally counted in code. Then, we'll see how ancient mystical texts tell us Sarah's years were lived on a higher spiritual plane. From there, we'll explore the architecture of time itself, which is going to lead us to the secret divine name that unlocks the whole puzzle. And finally, we'll bring it all home and see what this ancient blueprint means for you and me today. So, let's jump right in with the verse that kicks off this whole investigation. You know, the Torah is famous for being incredibly precise. Every single word, every letter matters. So when it says something that sounds even a little bit repetitive, it's like a huge neon sign pointing to a hidden secret. And the verse about Sarah's lifespan, well, it's one of the most famous examples of this. And this right here is the core mystery. Why the strange, fragmented counting? I mean, why not just say she lived 127 years? This breakdown feels so redundant. But in mystical interpretation, redundancy is never just redundant. It means there's a code. This isn't just a number, it's a formula, and the key to cracking it is hidden in the original Hebrew. Okay, this slide shows our first major clue, and it's hiding right there in the Hebrew. For the numbers 120, the text uses the word shana, which is the singular form of year. But then, for the number 7, it switches to shanim, the plural form, years. Why? Why the change? This tiny grammatical detail is the thread that's going to let us unravel the entire mystery. So, what does this grammatical switch actually mean? Well, this is where the Zohar, the foundational text of Jewish mysticism, takes this one little clue and just blows the doors open on the nature of reality itself. The Zohar makes this breathtaking claim. It says Sarah's life wasn't just a series of events happening here on Earth. No, it was a perfect reflection of a higher spiritual reality. Her 127 years were a complete, perfected spiritual structure that existed above, long before it ever played out below. Think of it this way. Her life wasn't just lived in time. It was a perfect map of time's hidden source code. And this connects directly back to that grammatical clue we just saw. The Zohar explains that the singular shana was used for the 120-year periods because they represented pure unity, a single, uninterrupted flow of divine energy coming from above. But the final 7 years, described with the plural shanim, well, that represents that same energy descending into our world, the world of multiplicity, of separate days, different events, and all the earthly forces like judgment and mercy. So what does it really mean for a life to be lived above? And how does this higher reality even work? To understand that, we have to look at the very architecture of time itself, according to Kabbalah. We're basically moving from glamour class to cosmic engineering. And this brings us to the concept of the Sefirot. Think of them as the 10 fundamental building blocks of reality, the divine channels or dimensions that structure literally everything, from entire galaxies all the way down to a single thought. They are the cosmic blueprint, and Sarah's life mapped perfectly onto it. Now, this is a deep topic, so let's break it down with 2 different analogies. We'll look at it through a video game version and then a cosmic engineering version. But you'll see, both of them point to the exact same profound truth about Sarah's life. Okay, let's start with the video game analogy. Imagine reality is a game with a cosmic timer. Sarah isn't just another player, she's the timekeeper queen. Her life is divided into levels, the 100-year level, the 20-year level, and the 7-year level, and she clears each one perfectly, achieving a perfect score. Now, the cosmic engineering version. Time originates from a master clock server, a spiritual dimension known as Bina. The years that you and I experience are the system time sync happening on our local machines, our reality, which is called Malchut. Sarah's life was a state of perfect synchronization between that master clock and her reality. She had root-level permissions. I mean, there was no lag, no error messages. Her 127 years were a perfect execution of the cosmic code. So, we've gone from a tiny grammatical clue to a whole model of cosmic architecture. Now we come to the ultimate revelation, the master key that locks it all together. This is where the code becomes a precise, living formula. It's absolutely mind-blowing. The great 16th century Kabbalist Rabbi Isaac Luria, known to most as the Ari, reveals the deepest layer of this secret. He explains that the number 127 is not random at all. It is the numerical signature of a specific divine name, Adonai. And this name is intimately connected to our reality, Malkut. And it represents the feminine principle of creation, the vessel that receives and then manifests divine light. All right, here's how the math works in a calculation known as a squared name. You take the letters of the name Adonai and you add their values progressively. So the first letter is 1, the first 2 letters equal 5, the first 3 equal 55, and all 4 together equal 65. So you add those sums together, 1 plus 5 plus 55 plus 65, and you get 126. Finally, you add 1 to represent the name as a single, unified whole. The total is exactly 127. Her lifespan wasn't just a number, it was a living divine formula made manifest.
But this isn't just numerology. It's not just a clever math trick. It's about a perfected state of being. The Ari teaches that this formula corresponds to what's called the crown of the feminine principle. This represents the highest possible spiritual potential. So Sarah's 127 years were the complete realization of this potential. Her life was, quite literally, its crown.
This is an incredible revelation, but it isn't just about Sarah. It's a massive paradigm shift that reframes the potential that is hidden within every single human life, including our own.
The key takeaway is this: one life. Sarah's story shows that a single human life can be a perfect mapping of a divine formula, mirroring the very architecture of time and space. One single life can contain the entire cosmos. What this suggests is that our own lives are not nearly as random as they seem. Beneath the surface, there's a deeper blueprint. There is a life lived above, a perfect version of ourselves that we are trying to sync with down here below. So the goal isn't just to get through the years, but to realize that blueprint, to achieve that perfect sync in our actions, our words, and our thoughts. So I'll just leave you with this thought to ponder. If a single life can be a map of the cosmos, a blueprint of a divine idea, what is your life charting? What potential blueprint are you working to bring into reality? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.